Right, after some moderate technical difficulties, let's see if this works now. In today's cast we have JaggedAppliance in the north corner playing Aeon versus Blast in the Cybern corner. Fuck's sake, right, I'm not redoing this. This is a map I'm going to admit I have never fucking seen before. 20x20, the first thing this reminds me of is pizza. Given how it's like you have these little plateaus, a 20x20 map. That's about the first thing that comes to mind. And how much reclaim is that? Holy shit, 36,000. Right. Good luck getting it all. It seemed to be scattered here, there, everywhere. No obvious major wrecks. Can you go down that? I don't think so. You probably have to drop engineers and grab this mass. Don't know if they'll do it though. So what's on the cards? I imagine everyone's gonna try a transport rush. 20x20 map, probably a bit difficult to try and intercept shit, but we'll see what happens. This game has a fairly long duration on the replay vault, so I imagine this gets into late game. I imagine air would be... I don't know actually. On the one hand, you'd imagine air being faster would be critical in this map. On the other hand, the only real things of note are this is pretty easy to defend with flak, and the things in the middle are raidable. Otherwise, there's your transport for Jagged, already off. There's a Mantis on the way. So Blast is elected to delay his transport and instead go and try and disrupt any enemy drops with units. I don't think he's spotted. He would have spotted it now, but he already has a Mantis on the way to deal with it. He needs to get his own transport out though, because walking to these places seems really slow. Jagged tried building a base, decided, yep, I've been spotted, let's not do that. Spotted by interceptors, has to drop. So they're probably just going to try and set up shop here, if he remembers that he did it. So, Jagged's already set up on this plateau with a factory, that's practically secure. And, well, rip engineers. And there's your transport for Blast a little later, but oh well. He'll get his one uncontested. Now we have Mantis running around everywhere, so Blast using his faction to pretty good effect. You could just get them here then everywhere. Jagged should reply with bombers really, if he has air control. This is the easiest way to deal with Mantis infestations or bad solo unit infestations is with bombers. And that's unfortunate. Jagged got transport and then Blast immediately locks onto it. But it looks like it'll be defended. Looks like it'll be defended. Unless there's any more intercepts on the way, that'll get there in time, but yeah, that might be a problem for him. Three air factories apiece. Commanders here moving in a counterclockwise direction. I have no idea what the meta is on this map. I imagine it's try and get the reclaim. There's a lot of it. How are we going to do about radars? You can build one each, but that won't let you have much information of what's in between. I suppose you get a Tech 2 radar. How important is the middle? My instinct from Via tells me that you should... anyone got a Tech 2 yet? Right, he's got Tech 2. Jagged burst to Tech 2, gets Tech 2 power, still hasn't taken this plateau. Instinct tells me that you should be able to TML from the middle. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, sort of. 50-50. So, what have we got? Jagged having to deal with random Mantis infestations left, right and centre. No radars around the front, so he can't see what's heading towards him, but he's got gunships now, so all this will be superfluous and wasted. Tech 2 power's done. And for a map with this much reclaim, I'm surprised he hasn't taken any of it. Makes it one. Yeah, it is grabbable. So why isn't it being taken? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Well, there are your gunships. Has air control, gets the gunships out. Tech 2, I think Jagged. No, I think Blast is more. The problem is, if you raid with a single gunship, is you give your opponent a chance to start spitting out anti-air, and the most you can do is raid a few mexes. Blast engages before all of his interceptors are in one place, so that's not as effective as it should have been. Jagged is like, I'm fighting the interceptors, the gunships don't need to be here, withdraws them. It looks like he may or may not win the air fight. Looks like he does, but there's no reason for gunships to be there. If he wins, then they can come back. If he loses, then he better not lose them. And yep, this mass spawn needs emptying Tech 2 mexes. Everyone seems to have plentiful amounts of Tech 2 mexes. Well, Tech 2 mexes, full mass bars, and all this reframe still not taken. Woof. Rhinos. I think this map would be amenable to Wagners. You could just go around the side. These are beaches. A few of them in, out, in, out, in, in, out. Difficult to deal with. I don't know if you can enter this pool from the beaches. It looks like you can to an extent. They're very difficult to deal with. Middle, no one's really attempted to stake a claim on it. Given how the map's so big, I'm not surprised. And I think this is a map, well, not even really thinking about it, this map will require high APM. The fastest way to it is just to get a transfer and drop engineers at each of them. Going to be pretty easy to hide things as well, I imagine. So I'd imagine, well, I know if Zokwa here, he'd say, build Tech 2 radars everywhere, and I don't see why not. Now, where's that engineer so I can actually look at this? Gunships for defense, nothing wrong with that. As I've said in previous videos, people are very, very hesitant to just randomly send all their air across when they don't know what's happening where it is. But you have the advantage, you get a better engagement. On the other hand, if you start putting flak with your attacking forces, then it means that air can't really touch it. But then you have to decide, what are you actually trying to raid? Really attack from Nexus for a huge army? Probably not the best idea. So if we got Tech 2 radar, you could see a pretty decent chunk actually. Middle would probably also be useful, because then you could see all the avenues of approach with Tech 2 radars. I mean, it'll be expensive energy-wise, and that is Tech 3 land. Is this 2018? Well, you have this much mass in the bank, and you have this much reclaim, I don't see why you can't. So, I imagine Loyalists will run around. The only problem with a map like this is if you're going to build Loyalists to raid, you need air control, or else Jagged is just going to build gunships and shoot them all down. And he's having some pretty big power problems. And he's going with Tech 3 air, so will we see strats? Who knows? Holy shit, this interceptor cloud, 100 inties. That is nowhere near enough. And I'm going to call that. And the problem you see here is that this is in radar range. So Blast knows exactly what air force he's playing against, and he can probably just run in and kill all of it. What else have we got? I don't know. There seems to be a really large discrepancy between the air forces and Jagged. He's going for Tech 3 air, so he'll have ASF soon enough. But in the meantime, I don't think this is the greatest idea. That'll just be eaten by... This is not a good idea. Oh dear. And... oh boy, how many kills? This flak. Almost full veterancy. Doesn't dent the Inti cloud. And now you have an uphill struggle where your initial ASFs are fast, but they won't be able to put a dent in the interceptor cloud if they have too few numbers because, well, like that's the square law principle. You have to wait until you have a sufficient amount, which means that you can't shit out defensive units that easily. Lasers getting murdered by rhinos. I'm surprised that I haven't seen Tech 3 on this area. No TMD, but again, can you build TML on one of these plateaus and TML the other one like on Pizza? No, sort of. If you want to be really cheeky, you can put it there, I suppose, but it won't hit that much. Middle, sort of uncontested. Massive power problems with Jagged. Tech 3 mechs going up at the same time as the Tech 3 P-Gen. Oh, the power stall. I would be someone who would state you probably want an Omni sooner rather than later on this map, and that looks like that's a brick drop. Problem of only having Tech 1 radars in each location. Can't see this shit coming in. And Jagged doesn't have a clue. Actually, he might have seen it, if he was paying attention. But if you go around the very edges, the radar doesn't reach that far, unless you decide to pop the radar on the side, but who the hell was that? Is this... Guy slammers and a single rhino. Not sure what that was just to achieve. I might kill a few T1 Nexus. What does Blast know Jagged has? Blast knows Jagged has Tech 3. He just scouted. He sees the T3 P-Gen. That'll be priority number 1. Loyalist looking at walls and PD and feeling very useless. And despite this Tech 3 land, it hasn't really done very much, it seems. This is effective. Bricks coming in, delete the build power, delete the Tech 3 engineers, and they look like they should be able to get the T3 P-Gen. Not sure if they want to stay in the Tech 1 range, but if they don't, then they just shoot something else and end up not hitting the target. So this, 2,400, this is 3,000-ish if I remember correctly for T3 P-Gen. Yeah, so this was worth it. Try and sort of kill the power, but yeah, you get half of it back I suppose, but it delays Jagged's air production, and he needs it. At this stage, the only thing I'm criticizing about Blast is the criminal lack of flak. Also, there's no response to the Tech 3 air, so he hasn't, okay, he's trying to build a T3 P-Gen, he's going to go to Tech 3 air afterwards, and what? Hope he doesn't get stratted. 172 interceptors, holy shit. Inties aren't fast enough to catch strats is a problem. If Jagged has shat 1 or 2 out, just blow things up and run away, but that brick drop meant that he is in no position to do it. He's been forced to go Tech 3 land as well. Probably get Harbingers. Harbingers pretty fast. They'll deal with Loyalists on a pretty even keel. Maps are spread out as this. I'm pretty sure you'll find Harveys are probably better in early mid Tech 3 land, just because you can see bricks being really slow and bring up enough numbers to kill them and just reclaim them afterwards. Inti-Cloud, gunships, the list are being defended. This grand tour of a single Rhino with so much AA escort to manage to waltz across here with no difficulties. No idea where these gunships are going. If they're heading towards the main base, they're A, with a fighter escort, B, they'll be able to spam up A pretty quickly. And yeah, that looks like it's going to be a mass gift, which might be insignificant at this stage, but oh well. Gunships are gunships, you can use them to defend places if you see things turn up, or drops. That's what I do with them anyway, they're never useless. If you just see a random Harvey infestation, just set the gunships on, they'll tidy it up eventually. And it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a grid plan for either player with regards to their ASF production. Interceptor Cloud looks like it wants to move in, probably thinks about it. Jack going for Restorers, which definitely means you should be building flag. Flag support factories are building engineers and nothing. Tech 3 support factory, still Tech 1 Nexus everywhere. Jagged's used up his entire eco bar, but building Tech 3 Nexus as well. Needs power, needs Nexus. Looks like he's going to build it over here. And to my surprise, there's been surprisingly little fighting over the middle. It's been mostly just people poking around the edges, and then air fights once in a while, but no one's made a concerted effort to try and take the mid and secure it. I don't know if that's a mistake, or it's just difficult to just get shit in the middle so it doesn't get overrun. Package restricted to his 3, Blast seems to have better map control, but no Tech 2 radars, no Tech 3 radars, no air grid, still upgrading economy here and there. But he's ahead in economy. 1, 2, 3 Tech 3 mexes? Only 2. What's this? Loyalist dealing with lasers. This... lack of Medusa makes me cry. There's no reason not to build in every single stage of army. Can Jagged hold this? That should be. But especially Restorer. If he rushes in, takes everything out, and he can kill it, but I don't think he's in a position to clean up afterwards. But there's plenty of flag, so if he just ran in, I probably could deal with it. But if he just sits there at maximum range and ignores them, then he's just going to die. All of this will just melt to pieces. And they're doing the donation. Great mass donation. On the other flag, Carbon just come out and mess it too, as we always do. Not sure what that's about. Problem with Aeon TMD is they are so short-ranged. Also, they're very vulnerable to bombers. You can set, what, 2 Tech Bomb bombers, blow them up, and then let the missiles fly in afterwards. But on the upside, like, 1 TMD will probably save you from a TML sniper standing next to it, unlike the other ones. And that's the Omni radar going up for Jagged, so he, once he has power anyway, will be able to see everything. And, well, he probably doesn't want to fight that with the Interceptor Cloud. And, well, that was pretty good retreat and then turnaround, because the Interceptors were nowhere near the fight, so couldn't help, and there was just ASF as Restorers and ASF, so... The thing about Restorers, you just keep them at long range, keep them out of the main fight, and then either winning or losing, go forwards or backwards, but just combined arms. The only weakness is they're not exactly dedicated technically gunships, so when they face off against land units, it's what, 10 flak to 1 Restorer? So if you have around, well, 1 Restorer's worth of flak, your army is pretty safe from Restorer harassment, just because of the way gunships work. They bunch up, they die to AoE, and that's a pretty sizable Harbinger force. Not sure it could really push that far, but it could run around and raid stuff, like that was due to radar and mid, quite inventive, but dealt with. And this push is going to keep going forwards, but 6 pieces of flak, I'm not sure that's enough. If he focuses fire as the flak, or alternatively, you can focus fire the flak, 1 or 2 pieces, get out before the Restorers die, put them on air station, and then repeat the process. When you have gunships and high-tech air units, you have more loads of HP, you should definitely have air station by this point. No grid. This lack of grid makes me cry. Looks like we have a switch to brick production. Mixture of bricks. Boilers are now running around, raiding Tech 2 mexes. And what's this achieved? Harbingers without power. Oh dear. That is not what you want to do. Harbies with no shields. Okay, it looks like Jagged solved his power problem just in the nick of time. And it looks like he's going to base most of his power at this location, which is fine. How is he going to deal with this infestation? Still think his best bet is Restorers. Restorers snipe the flak, go from there, and then everything else just becomes free replay. And now, especially since the flak is now in a line, yep, exactly. The flak will easily be picked off. It doesn't matter if Restorer with 10% hit points, Voiders can't shoot into the sky, all of this will disappear and become free replay. This might be a problem because of how much there is, and yeah, there is a criminal lack of flak. Build more flak. This magical entity that people don't build is like, ah! Blast also has an Omni radar, and all of his land is getting chewed up because, well, flak saves lives. One thing that people don't do very often is to stealth their bases. As a Cybran, there's no reason not to. The stealth generators, I'm pretty sure, are both cheaper and have a larger range. 320 though, woo, that is slightly pricey. Are they cheaper? I know they have a longer range. Yeah, they are cheaper. Yep, because if you stealth it, then you can A, hide your air force and they can't get a bead on just how many numbers there are, and C, they'll make sure that if you have any special projects coming up, then they can't see them. Because people will look at telltale signatures like this and say, something might be building here. Is there something building there? Yep, it's a nuke silo. So something like that. And will Jagged realise this? He just has a shield and then snipes, but it doesn't look like he's particularly... The scouts are just here. They're just so tantalisingly close. It doesn't seem to be curious about what's over here. Harbingers, in the end, got deleted by gunships before they could do very much. Lack of flak. It makes me cry every time. Restorers come in to try and harass this, but, well, where the ASF? They all died. Needs air staging. That looks like a very, very sad restorer. On the plus side, that's still all his reclaim, if he bothered to get it. But you can see, just Mexes uncapped, Mexes need taking. Probably can't deal with this right now because the force is just too big. And he's now actually scouted the nuke silo, but again, doesn't seem to be any reaction to it. I'm surprised there's been no reaching for experimentals yet. Really surprised. And oh, come on, make more Tech 3 Mexes. So this is something slightly better. You should have a mix of flak and stealth. Hide your army and protect it from air. So like this. Jagged won't be able to see this army unless he scouts it. It's just a blank spot, and on the map as large as this, hiding your army and their movement, pretty strong. He's out of mass, and yet they're replaying for days down here. Well, there's your air staging, and there the restorers getting fixed up. Right as I said they should. Now the problem is that Jagged can see he has this army, but he doesn't know what's in front of him. And given how Blast is now using stealth, he has to scout before... Oh, he's going to scout his ASF, so that's what we're dealing with. And that's probably way too much crap. So he has another option, which is just to send units around. He can see perfectly where everything is, because people don't tend to have the attention span or attention to detail to stealth their response forces. They might stealth their main army, but if they send 3 or 4 units to deal with your 2, they'll never stealth it. I've never seen anybody do it. It's just too much APM. Harbies, more ASF, no grid, no energy storage either, so if there's any power fluctuations, your stuff. 58 Harbingers, 27 bricks, and how many loyalists? Oh, a decent amount of loyalists as well. This looks like it's going to have no response, but he also seems to have major power problems. What's this? Oh boy, trebuchets. Oh god, engineer massacre. And we have all of these factories which are paused when, I don't know, they could upgrade to Tech 3, because they're making Corsairs. Those are always useful regardless of the tech stage. Harbinger army in the middle. No one's taking this still. It's just no one's ever built anything here. No GC, no nothing. Eco's actually dead even, but again, you could still be ecoing harder, building more stuff, but no one needs to be reaching for super big guns yet. And Blast is just happy to sit with his stronger unit outside the base and just shell it to death, and just no reason not to. This army, only 2 anti-air, no flak. Where's the flak? He could build normal gunships, he could build whalers, and all this would disappear. Unless you're confident that you have enough air to neutralize his, I suppose. I don't think he can. Because there's still this, holy shit, 203 interceptors out of fuel. Oh boy, disaster. Now my FPS dropped to nothing. That's the air staging. Oh, triggering. Tarv army needs something to deal with it. And it looks like Jagged is going to try and bring in restorers to deal with this. But how much flak have we got? 15. This will all disappear in a puff of smoke very quickly, without doing anything. And it just fall out of the sky. The magic that is flak, that's a much better composition. And air can't touch it. Well, Tsar could. I guess Strats could, but definitely not gunships. That was like a pretty expensive loss. This Harbinger army is forcing units to chase it, which is what it wants to do. Because if it's loyalists, the loyalists are outranged and outclassed, and the bricks, they're just too slow. So it's just using factional advantages where you can. All of this should die. But there's a lack of flak here, so I imagine air will kill it very easily. Nuke, ready, not launched. Which is why I think it was in one of Jagged's videos he said you should just click it to fire somewhere so you don't have to bother doing it later. And he's going to go for a Tsar. Finally we see an experimental being built. Like, get that air control and just drop donuts on people.
Strategic launch detected.
Time to run, and looks like the majority of his power is here, but the majority of his air production is here, which I think is a mismatch, because, well, if this goes up in smoke, he's going to lose all of his tech and a lot of his eco. If he loses all of this, then that's his power gone, and I think he's going to get locked for the rest of the game. But in the end, neither is protected. And it's going to go for this base over here. Air staging, all the power's going to go. Mexes, no one really cares. Tech's not important. But, dang. There goes the nuke. Completely unresponded to. And on a map as large as this, it's quite a good idea to build one. Because you either force them to get a SMD in each location. Yeah, you pretty much do that. You just force an SMD in this location, which is much more expensive than a nuke, especially if you can hold it. Airfight going in, over sands, which is the best idea. This Harbinger army is running into suicidally close range to, well, the Harbies could be claimed as they had no hold up this smoke. And the ACU is running for its life. So it looks like that this is going to get deleted by this Harbinger, of course. This got deleted by a nuke, but it looks like Blast has Blast of air control? It looks pretty even right now. But this army over here, the stealth, is probably going to walk in and delete all of this. Overall, Blast is still ahead. He has his main base, his main eco, he still has his nuke operational. There's a profound lack of power, still no SMD, so that's going to go up next. So I don't know how Jagged is going to get back into this one. Oh boy, Renegades and their AoE are going to happily clean up all these engineers. I suppose another thing you can do with bricks is if you force your opponent to react to you, because now, I don't know, this looks like they might get sandwiched, you can just pull into the sea, because Harbingers can't swim. Pull into the sea, go somewhere else, and just be annoying that way. But it's like, well, Jagged is down to his core base with no power, and Blast is both of his. No experimentals required from him in this game. Could easily build a Soul Ripper if he wanted to, I suppose, but yeah, he also has power problems because he lost his field shit over here. And he lost his HQ, so can't build anything. So it's like, how many Harbingers have we got here? 43 versus 18 bricks. This should all die technically, but there's only one problem, that this attack seems unsynchronized. Blast could just walk in this direction. These Harbingers won't do anything. These Harbingers will die, or he can just stay under stealth. Nah, he's not going to stay. These armies are being dealt with one at a time, and so they'll just get dealt with instead. Not ideal. He has enough units pouring on this to make sure Jagged can't get re-established. That's unlucky. Jagged has mass. Holy shit, 30,000 mass in the bank. And has an SMD, but yeah, realistically speaking, it's how he's going to get back into this one. He had called tier APM maybe, but yeah, units, not E-storage, or P-gens. Still got Tech 2 mexes, the God is not pleased. But yeah, just like that, the SMD and the power meant that he couldn't get the SMD in time for the nuke. So this is going to explode, and that is GG. I don't see a way back. That's the end of that. So another 20x20 map is in the pool. What have we learned here? You can go for drops early to secure these locations. You can also counter said drops by putting units in those locations to stop drop from coming in, trying to harass instead. I'm not sure whether you can go for an interdiction build order, trying to shoot down an opponent's transport. There is still all this mass here that hasn't been taken. Nobody seems to have touched it. Guess it's just 2 APM heavy. Looks like Tech 2 Air wasn't as important as it looked, because these locations seem to be really easily defendable by flak, and well, plus 200 interceptors. Where are they all gone actually? I didn't notice them disappearing, but nothing seemed to happen with his air control. You can deal with infestations with gunships and bombers, and the opponent really won't do very much about it. Radar coverage seems to be quite important as well. You can build Tech 2 radars in all these locations in order to see what's coming in and out. But otherwise, it's eco your heart out and see how best to hold on. No experimentals, no artillery. The only real thing was a nuke, and that turned everything. Yeah, that's about sums this game up. Well, until next time.